back to the Schmitter's 100-acre woods. So I'm out here at the wood yard and gonna work on getting some firewood split up. So as you can see, kind of gotten overrun, gotten behind on splitting. So kind of gotten surrounded here. So all this stuff over here is from a pickup load brought back from the 100 acres. And all this over here is from the dump trailer. So typically we try to store it in the dump trailer and split from that, but that didn't work out this time. Needed the dump trailer for something else. So ended up dumping it here and going to work on getting everything split from that. So most of this have a pretty good mix of different types of wood. Have some red oak, some cherry, sycamore, and some poplar, it looks like. So have a pretty good collection of different stuff. Same with over here, have a little bit of everything. So gonna work on getting some of this stuff split up and see if I can't get caught back up. I'm gonna go ahead for now, just go ahead and split onto the trailer because I have room in the firewood shed still that can work on getting filled up the rest of the way, and then everything else will go in totes. So I've started getting totes ready to put this in because there's a fair amount here that needs to get split up. We're here checking out the status of what we got going. So bay 1's over here, 4's over this direction. So 4's the latest one that we just started filling up. So have a little bit left there that we can fill in. And then bay 1 is the one that we were using this past winter. So it's aged about 3 years. So I'm gonna pull some of that out, stack it over here. And then what I really wanna do is pull the rest of that out, that one row that's in the back, and take stuff that we split, put it in, and then have the oldest stuff up front. So that'll take a little bit of work, a little bit of juggling. It's kind of the thing with having it like this is you don't typically use an entire bay of it in a winter, or you may use, you know, kind of an in-between amount. So you got to throw part of it out, and then put the oldest stuff in the back, or put the newest stuff in the back and the oldest stuff up front, so you use it first. So I haven't exactly decided how I want to do that yet, but there's a good 2.5 rows there that be good to get filled up so that this is completely full. And this will be about 2.5 to 3 winters here worth of wood. And then, like I mentioned, started getting totes pulled up here. So these are ones that I've emptied from doing firewood bags. So I just kind of set them here, and then we'll start pulling these and putting them by the splitter whenever I start splitting that. First stuff though, like I mentioned, I'll throw on the trailer and then bring it down here. I'll fill that one up and then figure out how I want to go about getting this cleaned up. So part of what I want to do is see how far that goes. So again, it's about a pickup truck load, a little bit more than a pickup truck load, and then a full dump trailer load from the 100 acres. So we'll see, kind of do progression of where that gets me. So like today I have a couple hours, so I'll work on getting what I can split up and try to get the trailer filled up. That will finish that out, and then leave a little bit of extra to stack. So anyway, it'll take a while to get all that split. It doesn't happen real fast. I'm not going to do bag firewood with this. It'll be normal size, so I'm not going to cut the pieces down as small as I do for some other stuff, but it still takes a while to get through all that wood. So we'll kind of keep track and see what all this fills up, and then again how many totes that fills. So here I tried to speed up the time-lapse process, just not to bore you, but kind of give you a sense of kind of going through this. I think this session was about an hour and a half, kind of getting those rounds that were stacked up there cut up and put on the trailer. And did a little bit of stacking. So it took what was on the trailer here and stacked what we could in bay 4, so it's now full. So basically what we're trying to do is get what is in bay 1 here. So all this stuff is I think about 3 years old. So we had a little bit of a gap here, we filled that in. Now we still have this stuff. We're probably going to put that in a tote and separate it out. That will give us a full bay here to stack green firewood. So we have the little bit that's on the trailer, and then as before we have all the stuff on the other side of the splitter that still needs to be split. So it's a nice cool day, so instead of working on moving that, I think I'm going to run the splitter for a bit, get the little bit of ash that's right there split up, and then start working through that pile and getting it split. So have a little bit of wood left on the trailer, but wanted to go ahead and split some and get that filled the rest of the way up. So again, kind of sped this up for you guys' sake to not bore you, but just kind of go through and show getting that filled back up. I think I explained this later in the video as well, but if you notice, I've tossed some pieces of wood kind of to the right there. So those are ones that have been infested with ants. Here we switched to filling the tote up, so I went ahead and put all the wood that was in the shed, put it in the tote, so that gives us a full bay to stack green wood. Okay, so we got the trailer filled up again. Just made a little dent, got the little bit here, made a small dent over there. Have this panel hook on the trailer, and then the receiver just bolted onto the grater box. Use a 3-point hitch tractor to pick this up. And this is just an old trailer that Dad actually made to haul this tractor back and forth from Michigan, and did a lot of stuff for building the house here at the homestead. But anyway, at the bottom here, just have these old fence boards. Just kind of create a buffer from the ground up, gives a little bit of space. He's going to mix up some bug spray to put down around in here, just because we end up with ants and stuff in here, so going to help kill anything underneath. So we're working on getting this filled up. Like I mentioned before, one trailer worth is about a row, or thereabouts. So we're working on getting all this stacked so that we can do it all over again and work our way through this file. So it works out really well that one trailer full is about a row, so able to work around getting this. So this is an old trailer that Dad built that hauled the tractor and everything. So it's a little moist in there from Dad spraying some bug killer, but one trailer is about one row. So now that that's empty, I can start the process over again, get this filled up and get this filled out, and then once this is full, I'll switch to totes. Just a continuation of kind of working on whittling down this pile. Figured I'd just kind of go through and show some progress working on this, and kind of how taking all this wood, once it's split, what that equates to as far as storage. So we have the bays that we're working on, and then if that gets all the way filled up, I'll switch to totes and kind of keep track of how much of all that we fill up. So kind of continue working on this, getting it split up. Works out really well that in the evening time the sun comes around enough that the trees create nice shade over here, so you're able to have some nice shade while doing splitting and don't get baked the entire time, which is nice. As I work through this pile, had enough ants and everything there that I actually went and got some bug killer and killed some of those ants that were all over the ground. On this pile over here, so finally got through that and split some in there, got some of the smaller stuff done. So still have lots to go, but starting to make a little bit of a dent. All this stuff here has ants in it. So typically with the ants, if it's really infested like that one is, I'll typically just take it and throw it over the edge. Some of these other ones where it's just partly I get it split open, kind of set it over here, and typically they'll kind of vacate once it's been broken open, and then I can split the rest of it. So kind of set that off to the side so I don't infest the rest of the wood. So another trailer full, and that'd be about another row, maybe just shy of a row. Be all about splitting. I figure I'll kind of go through the splitter a little bit more. I don't know if I've really talked about it. I know I've mentioned it's homemade, but basically it is an I-beam with another piece welded on the bottom for rigidity. A cylinder here that was, I don't remember which size this one is. I have a cylinder, and then we've gone through a couple different engines on it. Just kind of depending on you know, what we had available. Currently we have this Honda GC190. It was off of a see, I think this one was off of a power washer, so it's a little underpowered for this, but it's really good on fuel and does what we need most of the time. This is just a homemade tank to store the hydraulic fluid, and essentially what we have here is this hydraulic pump that mounts onto the engine. You have this coupler here to transfer the power from the shaft into this pump. So what we did here was we tried to put two filters in parallel, thinking it would maybe allow more flow on the backstroke of this to increase the cycle time. I don't know if that really changed it too much, but it's not hurting anything. So that's what the dual filter system is, and then the tank, and then just have a Prince valve, and basically it is one where you just pull it forward and hold to go forward, and then it has the tent or detent in it going back to where it'll go back until it hits a certain pressure. So that's whenever it hits up against the backstroke of the cylinder, the pressure starts to go up, so then it kicks it off. So that's relatively new. You can see we used to have it back here. It used to be this motion. Put it a little bit closer. Initially it was two of us almost always doing it, so you can kind of have the other person back a little bit. Now with one person, it's really nice to be able to stand and be able to reach that easily, and then be able to push it back to get it to go back. And you can see just a big chunk of steel, and on most of the ones that you see that you buy, this is, you know, bolted together here, and basically this is just welded together pieces so that it will ride on the on this piece of steel. So this has been re-welded numerous times on both sides, as it has broken a couple times, but just kind of a rudimentary job here. On the one that we made for the backhoe that mounts and splits on that, we did end up drilling and bolting that one, but this one is welded. Same thing on the other side, and then the front. So you can see there's two cutting edges here. So initially had just this back one, and found it wasn't cutting as well, so added this smaller one up front. And then you kind of have this double stage where you kind of get the initial cut, and then it widens it out to go through that. And then these little shelves here are relatively new, in the last few years. Put them on there so you kind of had a spot to set logs, or as you're splitting a log, kind of sets on here. This is just to put the panel from the trailer, so you can put that just in here so that you can move this thing around. Tires are just off the garden tractor. You can see this one's kind of on the flat side. And the story with the ramps under it, so basically wanted the thing to sit up a little bit higher, so it's up about 8 to 10 inches from it originally was, and when working on stuff you're hunched over a lot more, so when doing it for a long period of time your back starts hurting just from being hunched. And here we just used, honestly, just a piece of wood, cut a notch in it that that piece of steel would sit in, and kind of using that as the front stand. So nothing fancy, just kind of making it work. And yeah, the back, we could go through and reconfigure the back so that the wheels were down and everything, but with how inexpensive these ramps are, you can just roll it up on those and it's a easy solution. And the one thing I want to add to it at some point that you see on a lot of others is like a holder that comes out, and a lot of them are hydraulic now where it'll pick up logs. I don't really, if I need to pick up a log, I'll just use the backhoe and everything, but it would be nice to have something that would come out and be able to set, like, so if you're cutting a bigger piece and you end up having lots of sections that come off that you need to kind of set before so you can split and then get to that one. Right now I just kind of been sitting them right here and it works for the most part, but you can't stack too much there, and also they end up kind of wanting to fall off. So it'd be nice to build something out so that once you split off a piece you could set it up there and then finish your splitting and then be able to grab from there. 99% of the time I'm splitting from this side of the splitter and putting stuff that way, and then either throwing onto the trailer once I'm done, or I set a basket in this vicinity and load into the basket. So putting something on this side would be nice. We may eventually do that, and probably if we do it, we'd put some brackets or something on here. Probably make it out of like 1-inch pipe or 3/4 inch pipe, so that it'd be rounded, and then you could also not have it solid, so it wouldn't be as heavy, and it would be let all the bark and everything fall and wouldn't collect. But we could put brackets in here that it like would pin to, and then make it so it's removable so that it doesn't have to be on there full time, so I wouldn't weld it straight to it. So Dad built this in like 95, maybe 96, somewhere in that time frame. It's kind of gone through, like I said, a couple iterations. The main tank and the main beam are pretty much the same. I know he's kind of had to go through and beef it up over time. We've changed different wheels on it. Like I said, it's gone through a couple different engine iterations. Just kind of initially ones we had laying around, and then this one was one that we had off of a like I said, the power washer the power washer that stopped working, and this seems to work fairly well for that, or for this. It's easy on the fuel, and while it doesn't have as much power, it runs pretty consistent and is a reliable engine. Really like the Honda engines. You just don't have to mess with them, and they're easy to start and reliable. So anyway, that's the story on the log splitter. I've done several videos with it, and just kind of going through and using it. I haven't really talked through it in general, so just kind of figured I'd do that here. Work on getting those cut down. I have some more already on, so I have the grapple on the tractor right now, but the forks are over there that already have some on there, so I'll probably get it loaded up, try to get those cut down, and work on that next. So keep making a little bit of progress with this. Kind of slow going, but just work on it little bits at a time. So while I had the grapple on the tractor, I want to go ahead and move some logs around. These are some of the red oak pieces that we cut up in a video. So I want to get them moved to the spot I could get them with the forks, and take the grapple off here and switch over. I've had to do it before, it's pretty obvious, but if you're new to like the front remotes and hydraulics, one tidbit for taking off the, so I have the grapple on right now and need to unhook the hydraulic hoses. So one tidbit to help release the pressure and everything is have the machine off, turn it on one click but don't start it. Make sure that the light is on for the front remotes. If that is like on the 62, there's a little button you push and it's electronically controlled to turn that on and off. Make sure it's on. And then here's the toggle switch for the front. And if you listen, I don't know in the video if you can hear it, but there's the clicking, so it's working that valve and has released the pressure from those hoses. So now I can go and unhook those Pioneer connectors with ease and don't have to struggle with it. So on the 62, I go ahead and I unhook that, pull my levers up, and then I can, before I start the machine, I always turn this off, just so I don't forget, so I don't deadhead the hydraulics to when nothing's connected. And then you can start it and you're good to go. So just one of those things that if you're around hydraulics all the time and are used to it, then it's a no-brainer. But if it's something that is new to you and you're not as familiar, then it can be something that you have to just kind of work through and figure out, and just have to figure out. So just a quick tidbit on the hydraulics and releasing the pressure on the M62 in particular. So I have a video all about just the slabs and this holder I made, so you can check that out if you want to see a little bit more about making it. It's coupled in with the video of putting power in at the saw shack, but here's just kind of going through using it. Put some pieces of red oak that we cut on there, and the size is kind of different. There's kind of some bumps and stuff in it, so caused the saw to pinch. So I ended up having to kind of cut from the bottom on a couple of them, but works really well, so you have consistent sizes on your firewood pieces, and you can put a full tree up there if you want, if it's smaller, and you can use it to cut it right up. So here's just a quick look at getting the wood on the slabs from the forks. I ended up using the outrigger to kind of level that up since it's at an angle. But time-lapse going through, getting this stuff cut up, and then stacking it in the tote. So this tote's already fairly full, but just get it stacked on there so that I can move that tote closer to the splitter and get it to cut into bag firewood. Thank you for watching the Schmitter's 100 Acre Woods as I work on splitting this wood and talk about the log splitter. So hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, we'll catch you next time.